All right. So, what up, everybody? It's your crew from the Double S Club here with another episode for you to enjoy, consume.
And hold on, can we just admit we finally got the gang together? Yay!
Yay!
You can see the joy in my
audience applause
face.
here. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Insert audience applause here.
Okay. It's not in the budget. Poor man podcast. That's what's up.
Poor man. God damn it. Too poor.
Exactly. Have you seen my apartment? You know, costs a lot.
I know. This thing is balling in the background, and we on a poor man budget podcast.
Anyways, so yeah, it's the three of us. So people say hello.
You already know what it is. It's Mr. Live 905, Andrew Coley on all platforms. You know what it is. Find me.
Lexi Samuels on Instagram with 2 eyes. Lexi Samuels.
Aye. All right. It's your boy, Mr. Remarkable. So yeah, you know where to find us. So definitely, we're gonna get into it. Andrew's brought us some interesting stuff because you know he's always sifting through the bullshit of the internet.
Deep dive.
And yeah, but before we start, I'm gonna tell everybody to like, subscribe, and share content because more people need to see us do this stuff. Because as much as we like to do what we do, we like to do what we do for more people. And yeah, that we need a reason to do this. So get your friend of a friend, tell someone to like. Doesn't cost you anything except a button click. And if you get carpal tunnel syndrome later on, I'm sorry, but just do it. Right. So, Andrew, what are we about to watch? What
All right.
fuckery are we getting on?
Is a doozy. On one of my inevitable deep dives into the internet, I came across something that has been common, discussion among our culture. Something that we always end up seeing but never really talk about, and that is you're just like your father, or you're just a fucking asshole like him. So now we're gonna watch this from a child's perspective and watch a terminal relationship with a son and his mother and his father and the years of lying that consisted in between and damage and abuse. And we're gonna find out what that actually caused.
All right, fair. That was a mouthful, but we'll see what we got. So let's get to it.
Where's my father? Nowhere to be fucking found. You know why he was nowhere to be fucking found? Because I just got a relationship with him a few months ago. Because my mom told me my dad wasn't shit to keep me away from my dad. But my dad didn't know. My dad did not. I thought my dad was a bitch ass fuck nigga. Because that's what my mom called him. Mm-hmm. My mom didn't know. My mom told I'm 26, bro. I'm 26. My mom kept me away from my dad for 26 years. You know what kept me away from him? My mom told me that my dad said I was a mistake and kept me away from my fucking father. Every time, this nigga been looking for me since I was a kid. Yeah. He's been looking for me. Can you imagine all the kids out there who got fucked up ass moms telling them their daddy ain't shit, but the daddy looking for them? I finally talked to my dad. He's a good dude. My mom told me my dad has not paid child support since I was a kid. I finally meet this nigga. He has envelopes full of fucking shit proof showing he been paying child support. He told me, he said, your mom is a lying, manipulative.
That's foul, bro.
I have not talked to my mom in months. You know why? My mom called me. My mom's in California. My dad's in North Carolina. I moved out of LA. I can't live in North Carolina or LA because I hate those places because of the trauma I went through on both of those places. My mom calls me. What you doing, baby? What's going on? I'm at my dad's house. What the fuck you doing at that bitch ass nigga house? Didn't I say don't discuss family business? Like, my dad comes and he busts through the door. My dad is happy and married. He's a street nigga. I can't talk about what he do, but he's a street nigga. He's happy and married. My mom has been bitter and having sex with so many goddamn dudes of different races, and she just got married recently to a nigga she met on Tinder for 1 month. My mom didn't get married because she was in love with the nigga. She got married because she didn't want to be lonely.
I told you.
Yeah.
Wow.
My dad bust through the door and snatched the phone. I was trying to, no, he snatched the phone. He said, hello. My mom said, put my son back on the phone. And I'm like, and he's like, he starts to calm. He's like, hello? Put my son back on the phone. No, it's my son too. What do you want? Put my son back on the phone. And my dad loses it. You fucking dumbass bitch. You rapist bitch. You been molesting my child, hoe, going in on my mom. And I'm listening to my mom. All that slapping, abuse, and beating me up, choking me when I'm on the floor, beating me with belts, wrapping hangers around other hangers, beating me till I pass out and wake back up, whelps on my back, scars.
Trauma.
My mom turned into a 2-year-old little girl when my dad started talking to her. She talked to me like a bitch my entire life. When I don't listen to her. But when my dad got on the phone, I saw the weakness come out. I have never saw my mom submit to a man the way she submitted to my father. While my father's wife is in the room. My father's wife is letting her do all this. And he's yelling on the phone, you mad because I left you. And I didn't want to be with you no more. And you kept my son away from me as a weapon. My mom used her kids as a weapon. Yeah. She used me and my little sister as a weapon. Whenever my mom would get pissed off by my dad or my sister's dad, she would say so many times that you will never see your son again if you disrespect me, or you would never see your. She used me and my sister as pawns. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Us as chess pieces. I have a belief now that I'm older and realize that my mom was the devil the whole time. If you're a child of anybody, I don't care if you're 40, 50, 60, you're a child of somebody. If you have one parent or no parents, I feel like it is every human being's responsibility.
All right, the video actually didn't fully download, so the rest of it just froze. So I'll let you know what he was trying to say. If you're the child of a parent that told you or is telling you, this is for young people also, that your dad wasn't shit, your dad didn't want you, your dad left you or whatever, is a very good possibility that it's a lie.
Fair enough.
That's the video. What are y'all thoughts? Because I'm just gonna go last.
No, I agree. I agree because you shouldn't, like, the one parent doesn't know how the other one feels. First off. And then second, majority of the time, it is true. Sometimes the woman does say stuff like that because they're salty about the fact that the person that they love moved on. That is majority of the reason why they do that, because there is no other reason, logically speaking, the only thing you can think of is you're using your child as a pawn to get back at somebody that you actually miss.
Damn, bro, what's your thoughts?
I mean, it's very difficult because as an individual that came from a broken home, I can kind of relate, not to that degree, of course, because you know, my mom never came out and said like my dad wasn't shit and but it's just like, you know, you can make that association because it's easy for children to have abandonment issues, even when both parents are around and they're just not engaged. That has a negative ramification on the child. And like you can see based off the individual, the amount of anger and all that sort of stuff and realization and like the illogic, right? Because it's just like, you know, all those opportunities you miss, all those dreams, all those perceptions, all those associations, and not having both parents for whatever reason, like especially when they exist. It'd be different if one of them passed away. Obviously there's no opportunity, but
or just doesn't want you, but it's worse when he's right beside you and don't know.
Yeah, like there's two thoughts, right? Because obviously if a parent doesn't want you, right, you're getting rejected. But when the parent does want you, this guy was searching, he was putting in effort. And you know, it's kind of ironic that there's such a strong stereotype when it comes to families that don't work, Because we all know majority of the time the woman takes custody of the child, right? Most of the time it's because unfortunately the man doesn't want the relationship, either because he's not ready or it's not that kind of thing or no desire and blah blah blah, or in this case it's being used as a bargaining chip in order to either create an environment where the mom can utilize and abuse and take full advantage of the situation for whatever reason. Obviously there's ideal scenarios, like if the parent's unfit, then those are the times where it's just like it's in the child's best interest not to be around this individual, but even then it has a bad effect. But you know, it's just so wrong. Like, I feel for everybody who engaged in a relationship, and it speaks to the mother's case. Like, we don't know everybody's history, but you know, not to justify it, but it seems like she has no purpose, so she needed to take the child to be like, here's something of value, intrinsic value, that I can associate with myself and put myself in a power of control. Because listen to the breakdown, all these years manipulating the child, having that authority and that towering complex over him, being able to have that ruling nation on him. And then his statement about his father, when he got an opportunity to put her in a place, the fact that she lost all that authority,
all that power, yeah,
right? Because obviously she lost the child. He's there.
He's gone. Yeah.
Right.
He's gone now.
And he's aligned himself with the father. So it's just like, you know, there you go. Like, you have no bargaining chip, because throughout the years, it was always that perception that, like, if he doesn't act right, then he'll never meet his father. And obviously she's telling him, you'll never meet the son if you don't act right, if you don't do what is. And he was paying his child support, as he said, stacks of letters saying he's been paying, but she's telling the kid, no, your dad
didn't want you. You were
not doing it in order to keep that going. So it just saddens.
No, but it's because she's salty that she doesn't have him anymore. He moved on, because remember what he said, his dad has a whole new wife or a whole new person or something like that.
Yeah,
whole new relationship, and she was salty.
Yeah, and his mom was salty, and that's why she told him all that false, you know, allegations.
I'll just bring it from the top, and I'll just say it simple as this. This video had me in my feelings for so many different reasons. Not for personal ones, because my mother was an awesome woman and never once made me feel like that. But I grew up around people who dealt with those situations. I've seen it firsthand what it does to people. It's a traumatic experience watching a kid being told that you ain't shit like your daddy. Yeah. Or my personal favorite one, that's why your daddy ain't here, because of you. Right. Like, some of them seem to push that trauma that they are feeling about their relationship and visit it on the child for years and years and years, not seeming to realize that the man that child becomes is a representation of that pain. It literally, it broke my heart, because like, I just seen that before, man. And there's nothing you can do about it, because like, I don't want to get in the personal, talk people's name or whatever, but I had personal friends who were dealing with that for years and years. And like, you hear, like, I had a discussion with this woman one time where I was telling her that I was forgiving my dad for something. And she turned around and said to me, "You don't need to forget that asshole. He left you and your mom." And she was trying to visit her pain on my situation.
Yeah.
She couldn't even let it go in her own situation, that anything that was brought up with the word dad, she was so frustrated. So like, I've seen that before, and it just, like, it almost made me cry, because I could see the pain that boy was going through. I can see it, like, you could hear the words that he was saying. Well, when his father finally got a chance to meet him, he said that happy moment turned into pure sorrow, just due to the fact that his mom, like, she automatically tried to teach this man like a bitch ass. You heard what she said. Like, why the fuck you talking to that nigga? Why you, like, you see the aggression in that intent? It's the pain that she's causing herself. And she keeps revisiting that, and like, she passed that along to her
and projecting it onto her son.
Yeah,
and that's like the worst pain ever, man.
And like, we're gonna talk about this a lot in this one, future podcast, preview podcast. My thought process is always the same. People need to take better responsibilities on their relationships. They
Mhm.
can't just enter relationships and being like, oh, we vibe with each other, that's it. Everything will fall into place and just let things flow naturally. No, you have to be conscious because situations like this happen where both parties or one party's not ready or there are aspects of
For
it.
whatever reason.
And it's the like people, if you have personal problems, right, with yourself and you're jumping into all these pseudo relationships and all these engagements just to satisfy these, like, bad relationships is just as bad as taking drugs or alcohol and substance abuse.
Fact.
Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes worse. Sometimes worse.
There's nothing wrong with you, and I'm saying this straight to the camera. There's nothing wrong with you if you recognize that you have a personal issue and you seek help. That is the most responsible thing you can do, right? So all these people who engage in relationships, substance abuse, all that sort of stuff, and you come to a point where you're like, hey, you look at someone else, you look to your left, you look to your right, people are moving different than you. There's nothing wrong with you. So if you have to reach out to someone and say, hey, I need help, either your friends, your family, a professional, that kind of stuff, to deal with your personal demons, so you can walk the same path as the rest of us, so to speak. And I'm not sitting here and saying I'm better. Andrew's not saying that. Luxie's not saying that. Like, we all work hard so we can flow. And sometimes we flow in the same direction as the society. Sometimes we flow in a different direction, but we all work diligently to flow. And if there's a problem, we have to find a way to get through it. It like literally, it's just like water. You can't stop water. It will change its state to exist. It will either.
Can I ask a hard question then?
What?
Is it because these people 90% of the time are fearful of the answers that they're going to get from these hard questions that they don't ask them? Because I'll give you myself personally. Like, me and my girl have had the breakup discussion, whereas we said to each other, if, like, we're in a good relationship, we're happy, but I said to her, like, if anything ever happens between the two of us, we don't need to create that commotion between our son. Like, we should be able to be amicable. We should not be able to fight in front of him ever, even if we are broken up. Like, why is it that people can't have those logical discussions in their relationships before they get to bad times? Like, set up, I don't know, what do you call it? Ground rules? Like, can't you just set parameters?
You want to know what it is? Because I have that issue. It's with some of my past relationships, so I feel I could speak on it as well.
Go ahead.
It's like, I feel like it's hard for some people to have those decent conversations because some people are afraid to face truths. Because whenever you do have honest discussions with people, I've noticed people start getting defensive, angry, and then that's what leads to the whole conversation turning into an argument, because one party couldn't take what one person was displaying or putting on the table for things to change or whatever. I've noticed that's the problem with people. If people could actually handle the truth now, like, I'm noticing people are actually taking steps to actually speaking with people properly, even in relationships, friendships, whatever dynamic. But now the next step for people to do is now be able to handle the truth and start hearing how people are seeing you and what you're doing to others. Because sometimes, I'll be honest, sometimes when people, because I literally, sometimes people tell me what I'm doing wrong, and I personally don't feel like I'm doing that, but I can't say that because I'm the person. They're the ones
You're
on
the
the
offender,
outside
not the
looking
victim.
in. Yeah, they're the ones that are on the outside looking in. So it's like, I'm gonna listen to the ones who are telling me what I'm doing because they see it like consistently. So
but
it's
how
like,
is it that people can balance that when it comes to their kids? Because a lot of people, like a lot of parents, look at it objectively, like, you're my kid. Like, look at this situation. She's probably thinking in her head, I had this little motherfucker. I can do with him what I want. So what do we say to that theory?
It still speaks to how you feel about yourself in the core, because again, she's projecting her value and self-worth based off the kid. A lot of these people who struggle are simply saying, my self-worth is derived based off the things I have. So if I have a relationship, that contributes to my self-worth. If I have a child, that contributes to my self-worth. And they're willing to take on all the benefits and perceptions that come with it, right? Because if you have a child, that means you're a parent. that means you're responsible. That means you're this, that means you're that. As long as your child's not dead, it could be assumed that you're doing these things, right? And same with a relationship. If you're in a relationship, that means you're desirable. Somebody wants to engage with you. You have someone, blah, 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 blah. So people fall into those traps. And I say a trap because of the fact that they're not engaging in these things amicably and saying, you know what, I'm with this person because, you know, we enjoy each other's company, we have similar interests, we have similar goals, we complement each other. You know, yes, they pull out the worst in me sometimes, but they encourage me to be a better version of myself. Like there's the drive that's associated with it. And the same thing with children, right? Children, they're not just pawns, they're a reflection of you. They're the closest thing that we have to immortality. They're your legacy. It's an opportunity for
They
you
represent
to,
you.
right, and it's an opportunity for you to teach and say, yeah, this is a better version of myself. My hopes and dreams go into this entity. So those people who lose those two components on self and, you know, association with their family and friends and children and stuff like that, that's where they're not recognizing the problem, right? And I'm not saying they have a problem. It's they're not seeing the missteps that's being created. So it goes back to that original statement. Sometimes you need to take a step back and reflect on it. And it's not saying that something's wrong with you, right? Like if you're overweight and you sit there every day and say, yo, I'm fat, I'm ugly. All right, cool. Either find a way to love yourself by, you know, becoming more familiar, getting in touch with yourself, understanding who you are, or work to improving who you are so you can be the better version of yourself. Ultimately, it trends towards your happiness, right? It's not designed to kind of take you apart. And the same thing, if someone you love or care about comes to you and says, hey, you know what, like, Andrew, we need to work on this. Lexi, you need to work on this. If someone comes to me and says, Rohan, we need to work on this, as bad as that is, to sit here and say someone's pointing out your flaws, they hope for you to be a better version of yourself as well. So
but we've had those conversations. So that's the beauty of having real people around you, is you can look at a person and be like, yo, bro, why are you fucking up right now? I know you better than me.
Right.
No,
so
but
like,
that's
such
thing.
a hard discussion with people.
That's the thing. It's the best to have that around you, because if you don't, well then, hey, people aren't gonna tell you like it is.
But yeah, before we digress too much, like, I feel for the young sir, especially a member of color, because that just perpetuates another stereotype, the abandonment, the perception, the devalue. And he probably struggled a lot not having his father. So yes, I implore everyone who's in a situation, you're in a relationship, take that in mind, right? Deal with and master your relationship with your partner before you start engaging these things where you bring another person in, either via procreation or adoption, whichever lane you go down. Remember that this is an opportunity. The child is a platform for you to show and make like a better version of you. That's you contributing to that. If you're not ready for that, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just that you're just not ready, period, right? And like, men out there, do your best to stay involved in your children's life.
Whew.
So
can you say that one again, so if they didn't hear you, please?
Do your best to stay in the child's life. I know I'm putting the pressure on men, but like I said, statistically, more children end up with the mom than the dad. So if you have a problem with the baby mom, that's you and the baby mom. Do your best to stay engaged with that child. Even if you create a scenario, be like, all right, cool. You want to take the kid? In 5 years, I want an opportunity to come back. If you ain't ready, man, take that 5 years to re-up yourself and come back correct for that child. Because they didn't choose to be in that mess, right? They're not sitting on your shoulder when you guys are having a good time, you're drunk in stupor, or that time you decided not to wear a condom. They weren't privy to that negotiation. So it's not fair that they get hit with the fallout because you weren't ready. And like, you know, I'm ready to catch some smoke in regards to that kind of stuff, but I strongly believe if you're not ready to get in a relationship, you need to deal with your business first. A real man things knows that, hey, you know what you're getting yourself into. Doesn't matter whether or not you're a Fortune 500 or a hood nigger, right? You don't put yourself in a situation you can't handle, right? whether or not you got a checkbook or a strap. You don't want to go into something that you can't control. So take it into context when you're dealing with these children. If you're dropping a seed, know that it's a 50-50. Either it sprouts or it doesn't, but you need to be ready for both outcomes. So if you ain't ready today, make sure you find a way to be ready tomorrow. And, you know, a child will appreciate what you can do, right? Because at the end of the day, it's nice to know, like, who doesn't want people to business about them? We post on social media for people to business about us, strangers. So why would you deprive your child of that? So that's my rant, because this is hot.
God damn, no shit. You know what? Fuck that. This nigga gets the audit.
Hey, Rohan,
Shit, I found the button. God damn it, I found room in the budget. You get you. That's the soliloquy right there. I found room in the budget for that one. Lexi, I think I want to hear your point before I go on my little rant.
Well, I feel like I agree with Rohan. I feel like all the men should start getting involved in their children's lives, because hearing that whole stereotype with all the men aren't there for their children, I'm tired of hearing that. It actually really looks good seeing men with their kids, because lately I'm not gonna lie, I have been seeing a couple have been doing their due diligence. It's not like they haven't, but I feel like a lot of people should just put their BS aside with their other partner and whoever it is that they've had a situation with, and just think about the kids and think about their future, because at the end of the day, they're going to be coming to you. It's not really the person that you've had a kid with. It doesn't really matter. It's just good with making a relationship with your child in general.
That's a good point. I mean, on my final thought to this, I'm just going to say it as simply as this. A relationship is a dance between two people. Please don't accept the fact that you can't dance and that the other person can. Don't take it as a shot in the arm. Don't take it as a problem. Look at it as an opportunity for you to learn the rhythm, the steps, and the time that it takes to become a better dancer. I just use that analogy because it's a simple one. Life is a mixture of things. We cannot spend the time fighting each other and creating a polluted environment for our child to live and swim and have to actually breed in. All we do is breed toxicity that way. Children are a nurturing, a beautiful, absolute God-given thing, and you can ruin that with your toxicity. Please do your child a favor, live a better life for yourself and live a better life for him or her. Like, my inspiration as a father every day is to that little boy I wake up to who screams in my face and punches me in the head and makes me feel like I'm the best thing on earth because I'm his dad. Nothing will ruin that. No relationship with, no non-relationship with his mom, no relationship that I have with his mom, nothing will ruin that, because that is my mission in life, and preserve that relationship. Please, men, if you are in a relationship and you are at its end, don't allow that end to end your relationship with your child, as my friend Rohan said, because you don't realize that rejection that a child feels carries forever. You never get rid of that feeling. No matter if you know your dad, no matter if he's 5 minutes down the street, if he does not want you, that is an inevitable feeling that you will feel forever. And mothers, please water your children's soul. Add love, substance, please add purity to that child's life. Do not poison the well with the hatred that you have for his father, or the person that you shared a love with at one time. Nurture that love and show them. It should be at those points when you're at your wit's end. That should be the time that you show the most generosity, because then that person will have seen you at your best when the other person's at their worst. Thank you, and that's our time.
All right, yeah, on this one, but like I said, be sure to share it with everyone, like it, ring that bell so you know when we drop new stuff, and yeah, join the doubles team, man. And
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, and if you have something to say it. If you have some ideas, drop it. We love to talk about everything, so let's go.